You know what I mean? Like it was like I want to do nothing. Even like,
So you're like 10 it, like let's say 9, 10 when this is happening.
yeah, exactly.
And so you're like right at that age where hip hop then is coming into full force. And so you get to go through your whole high school life and shit with the golden era.
Yeah,
That's actually pretty fucking wild.
yeah. And what's crazy was too, like if I think about it, like my favorite first group of any artist in the world was Nirvana.
Yo, which Kane and Slick Rick albums are there?
Slick Rick with Indian Girl on it, of course, nigga. Don't question that one. But I'm not sure which Kane it was, but I'm sure it's one of the earliest Kanes. What was Kane first, 2 or 3? And I can tell you exactly which one. Man, you want me to look at it?
Hold up, I could pull up the Spotify.
Yeah.
And we can check that right quick. It's weird that the Spotify is the first thing I would think to check, eh? Long Live the King, I think, is the first one.
Nah, Long Live the King, son. Woo! Son, that right there. Yo, that shit is the Bible to me, son. Like, yo. And the Slick Rick song, Slick Rick album, that album, like, I play that every day to myself, nonstop, every opportunity that I could. Like if I knew when I could get to it and have that and be able to listen to it.
Did you? So how did you listen to music? Did you have like a Walkman or something, or was it just like when you could?
Walkman. I mean, not at that age. The Walkmans ain't come out. Any niggas is broke. Unless you only way you get a Walkman if you snatching a Walkman. Bro, at that point, like when you was young, you know what I mean? Like niggas ain't buying a Walkman.
Everybody had that shit when I was there.
Like, yo, bag somebody for you ain't got one.
Okay.
Or use somebody else's. You know what I mean? Like until that time come, but like, you know what I mean? Like, but then middle school hit, I mean, so like, and then I learned new more. But me, my time was like, well, I was saying, like, me being real good in school, I went to a private school. My middle school cost more than my college. You know what I mean? My 7th grade of school a year tuition is cost more than most college tuition.
So hold on, what are the advantages then? It's like, so what did the perks of your private school be?
I mean, it's just ranked educationally wise in the country. So when you're moving on from there, you know what I mean, you have more advantage to other schoolings that look at those schools as the ones that bring certain criteria of students that, you know what I mean, much better education basically. Like Big Sisters told you.
Fair enough.
That's like, but on some real shit, like, you know.
Like I heard about the 90 student class sizes at one point. I was like, okay, that's serious.
Yeah. And I can't lie, like it was working in the beginning, and like, you know, but I figured it out, and I rode my wave. You know what I mean? But like I was saying, like my first group of music I ever loved was Nirvana. Like I mean, I guess that was something going through school, in middle school. Like you know what I mean? It was Nirvana, Tribe Called Quest, and all that early hip hop shit. You know what I mean? But still, Slick Rick and Big Daddy Kane was like to me the gods of life. Regardless of what, you know what I mean? But you move on, like even Keith Murray, who I battled since and beat.
Did you just say, you just casually threw that in? Yeah, I battled and beat.
I mean, I don't want to say like that because you know what? He was fucking twisted when I battled him. But he was adamantly want to battle. So I was like, all right, fuck it, nigga, we gonna do it. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, 16. You let the crowd pick.
And that's why
I watched him, but I can't lie, he was twisted. So I'm not even like, I want to put it out there like that.
Was that at the end of the week?
Every time I bump into him and see him, do I tell him? He say he remember, but I know he don't remember. Because right after I watched him, I met the shorty with my other niggas, so we pulling out next to BB King's parking lot, right, on 42nd. And this nigga had his shirt off and jumped on somebody's hood driving off. So I'm saying he was washed when I battled him, so I can't like say it's a true win, but he went for it, and I said I obliged and still won. And so there was a BB King.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. What is a BB King's?
Yeah. I don't know. Is Van still in here? I don't know if Van still in here. I can't remember. I want to remember exactly. Ill Dub did some BB Kings.
It's a famous restaurant that used to have a lot of live acts in it.
Yeah, and like the exclusive acts on 42nd Street.
Exclusive what?
So,
they had a few. They had one on 42nd Street. They had, like each borough they had a couple.
Yeah, well, I don't think each borough.
They were a famous restaurant, like dining spot. Yeah, it was. I don't know if it's there now,
Nah,
But back
BB King's
then,
the BB King's I'm talking about is a club.
It's a club.
yeah,
Well, performance space.
you also ate there too. You could eat at BB King's too.
Well, to me it was like the most famous on 42nd Street.
That's hilarious. Danny's like, you can get food there, and like Big Ox is like,
it's
you can
it's
get
a big
food
venue
there.
on 42nd Street. You know what I mean? Like to have a big venue that does hip hop on 42nd Street is big.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I remember EO Dub hosted an event there that I went to. I mean, was that like Keith Murray was involved in it, and whatever. So
it was both. It was a restaurant at a venue.
But he went to battle me and he got washed. Keith Murray, I love you, my nigga. I see him since, and he said he remember, but I don't think he remember.
BB King's was originally a famous blues club.
Oh yeah, of course, we know who he is.
That expanded to other music.
I don't know any of this, Big Ox.
You know,
he doesn't know any of this. That's why he know.
You gotta understand. I got a whole different set of stuff.
Explaining to the audience, so it was
BB King.
Like I
probably would fail a quiz question.
Started playing other music, so they started playing hip hop.
I might probably fail too, so I can't lie about it.
Other songs other than blues, but it's a famous blues club that also started incorporating rap and hip hop into their performances and acts.
And the way Big Ox is describing
also
it,
eat there. They also famous for their food too.
I hear you.
That's what made them famous. They were like a whole package type thing.
I respect
it's a famous.
It adds some class to it all. But from what I took from what you were saying, Big Ox, it's almost like this was one of the earlier venues to provide that big of an opportunity for hip hop, or at least that you had access to.
Like if you think about like in New York, like 42nd Street in the area, there's not many places where I would say, you know what I mean, many hip hop acts can go to, like, you know, like very pronounced hip hop acts can go to, you know what I mean? But BB King was one of those spots that provide that in that area, you know what I mean? So it's not just hip hop, it's just urban music in general.
Oh, that's really cool.
I mean, on 42nd Street. So yeah, it was a very accomplished. Like if you performing at BB King's, you ain't just at fucking Sally's.
Right, you're doing something if you perform there. Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
so this is like a real deal, like venue, like you probably can sell tickets to this thing level of thing.
No, you're going to sell tickets to it. I can't.
Yes. You're going to sell tickets, and you're going to have people that's going to come to your show just because they're going to BB King's. Yeah. They don't even have to know who's performing tonight.
They're paying for it though, because it's at BB King's.
You get me?
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Was that the Mob Deep show or the Boot Camp Click show? As we talk about that, just casually.
I don't think it was either.
That's a lot of shows. That's some cool names. Okay, we can get to all of that, but let's run it back.
Yeah.
So you're in high school, or you're in middle school. No, you were at the private middle school with the advanced education, and you're a big fan of hip hop at that time. But are you also getting into the freestyling and the rapping and any parts of the culture yourself?
Yeah, I mean. So what happened was my whole shit. Like I was a great athlete, so I was a good athlete. So I had the ability to go to the schools, whatever else. And my brother went to public school. So when I come back from school, I'd be in the hood, you know what I mean? Because we was broke. But I went to the super duper rich school. And my education was on tilt. So I'd come back and it'd always be that whole balance of, oh, you talk too white in the hood, you know what I mean? But then when I'm in school, I'm a kid from the hood. You know what I mean? So it was always like, it was a weird balance you had to deal with. But in that same time period, 7th, 8th grade, I got to my first rap group called Little Hoodlums. Man, niggas used to hang on the block, whatever, call themselves Little Hoodlums. The older niggas was Black Thorns, you know what I mean? And it was like the first time I've ever like really trying to rap, you know what I mean? And niggas freestyled on that a little bit on the block, but like coming up, it was like, it wasn't like till high school and shit. And you know what I mean? Me being in a fucking private school, I body everybody. You know what I mean? Like, and I'd go to other parties. I think I always had confidence in myself. So
you guys was just out there on the corner, just kind of freestyling, doing your thing. But you also had the older guys around. That was
because you know what? Because the older guys was Black Thorns, and they was putting out tapes, like actual tapes.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that was like 8th grade. So then we was like, see these niggas. Everybody at the time was either hustling on the block or not. And, you know what I mean? At that time, they was selling crack. My whole crew was known for, like, microwave shit. You know what I mean? Like, we do the quick microwave. Nobody would cook up. And be like, all right, make your order. Bloop, 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 bloop. You know what I mean? Microwave it real quick. Boom, hit the block. Whatever.
Fair enough. Y'all did what you had to do, or did what you did.
You know what's so funny about that project too? There was a couple there who was killing it. These niggas had a monkey selling crack for them, B.
What?
Son, they lived on the 4th floor. The monkey would come up and down the side of the window with the money and the crack, like nonstop all day. Yo, that shit was crazy. And they got busted though, but that shit was crazy.
That is one of the most.
They had a monkey hustling for you, like nigga. If you can't get a better working than monkey. You know that niggas never talking.
That's wild. That is officially up there with one of the wildest things anybody's ever said to me.
Though, like, I'm sorry I divulged to that situation, but it was just funny to me. I was thinking about this when we first started the hip hop crew. So the older guys was the Black Thorns, Westchester, you know what I mean? More northern Westchester, northern of the Bronx, you know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? But they still nasty to me. But they was on that early Wu-Tang wave energy, like, you know what I mean, Gods and Earth and all that shit. But Lil Holden was get money, Lil Young get money niggas. But whatever. So then, yeah, I mean, went through high school, everything else, and then I left school after my freshman year.
Fair.
And during that summer, I went an intern for Roc-A-Fella Records.
Wait, what? How?
I went an intern for Roc-A-Fella.
How did you win it?
How?
Yeah.
I was like, niggas is interning, trying to get into shit. I'm like, I'm going to try to intern. And I just went there. I went straight to the fucking, 48th and 8th, where they had Interscope building, and found out where Roc-A-Fella Records was. Walked in there like, I'm trying to get an internship. I was the only intern nigga from Westchester. Me and my dude, because he drove. So I was like, yeah, come with me. Get around there. We in Westchester come to the city, nigga. Like, I'm just gonna do it.
So what was that like? What did you end up doing there?
Mostly street team shit. You know what I mean?
Sort of.
But I do remember, like,
Gotta explain.
Yeah, like you gotta know that, like yeah, like what kind of street team stuff for all the people that didn't live in New York.
Street team.
So Dame and Dash was like, so you know Jay-Z, you know the Roc-A-Fella was Jay-Z, Dame, and Biggs. Bobby Dash was Dame's Dash brother. He was the head of that department, I guess, marketing and street team, all that shit. So I worked for Bobby Dash. So, you know, it would be like, it was crazy because at the time, like, Bad Boy would have a whole street team. It was like a group of people rocking the same gear, putting up flyers, throwing out flyers, and, you know what I mean, just making promotional shit going on. Man, maybe have somebody come through in a truck with the fucking TVs on the side, you know what I mean, the songs going on. That was the time of, like, Men Bleak first album.
I've like, hold on, like I've read about what you're describing in books before, but like it's kind of wild to think you're actually doing it. Like you were there.
Give him a visual. Like a van of people. You figure 7, 8, 9 people. They pull up on the block. They all hop out and they spread their block with your promotional stuff.
The whole block, like the block could be empty.
Everything, cars, windows.
We'll jump out of like two
poles, and then they hop back in the car.
The whole block is full with everything, flyers, posters, everywhere. You know what I mean? Like done in a manner of like, yo, because so say like this. So say if I'll give you an example, like really makes sense to you. So how, you know what I mean? For it to like mean something. So say if like a big artist at the time, Tribe Called Quest is doing it. I'm not the time, but say another big club, right? In the area, then there's gonna be mad people who's gonna see everything coming here to see the best hip hop shit going on in the city, right? If they're promoting another product like a single from another artist, like Men Bleak, who's the artist they're promoting at the time, or be, you know what I mean? So they flood the block in the area with media material, where like posters, stickers, things as such. So it's just flood everywhere you look. The most things you see is that, and there'd be street team battles. Like Bad Boy had a street team. Roc-A-Fella had a street team. You know what I mean? There's other street teams, you know what I mean? But so it wasn't that many. It's like 4 or 5 like big ones, but it'd be like who can do the most and make sure they should stand out the most. And you know what I mean? It's what it is. Like that's what street team was. Like you hit the streets. The team that hits the streets. Street team.
No, I mean that part makes sense, but like I know I think I heard about how they had to pass a law. No, I was reading the Jay-Z, one of the Jay-Z books, and how like somebody had to like block it because they were getting too loud with the cars, and it was starting to piss people off. And so like it's like interesting.
And it's like, well, you know what they have now? Like, I don't know what they call it. We're like, say if you're in a big area, a lot of people are there, and then one person does the first thing, and then everybody knows everybody's there to do certain thing. Like,
Right.
you never seen that thing before? They call that shit
Flash mob.
Right.
flash mob shit.
Okay.
At times, it get planned like a flash mob. Like, everybody's just out there on some regular basis shit, really. And then at a certain time, we're like, oh, yeah. Roc-A-Fella t-shirts on certain shit. And bleakers, you know what I mean? Putting up posters everywhere. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it would just be a thing that would be either wrote about, read about, or people would talk about. So, you know what I mean? These are the companies trying to promote product. When the more people talk about them in the streets, then it spreads elsewhere. You know what I mean? It hits Manhattan early. It goes to all the boroughs and everything else. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it was.
Yeah, that's wild to think, because like, yo, it's really interesting in that, right? Is like, you're talking about some of the biggest names in marketing at the time, and how they,
That's what I'm saying to you. Like, that's what they did.
and how much effort they put into it, right? Because I think a lot of times you see people drop shit these days, and like, you know, there's that like belief that you're going to be good enough, and it's just enough, right? But then you think about how the best people in history had to do all this shit just to make sure that they got the numbers and shit that they were going for, and it's just like, it's crazy.